Good morning and welcome to the first Take 10 webinar. I'm Deb Barrett coming to you from Chicago, and with me is my partner with Soft Design Lab, Jackie VonTobel, talking to you from Las Vegas. This is the first Take 10 webinar. We hope that you'll take 10 minutes out of your day every other Friday, twice a month, to get a very narrow focused look at what's happening with soft furnishings, things like bedding, fabrics, textiles, decorative pillows, and of course window treatments, whether it's trends, new technique, fabrication, manufacturers, new products, some of our secret sources. We hope you'll join us twice a month for Take 10. Welcome, Jackie. Hi, are you there?
Hi, yes I am. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our first Take 10.
Great. Well, let's just dive right in. We were at market last month, and we saw loads of things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Today we were going to talk just briefly about 5 things that we thought were really important and our top 5 takeaways. First one for both of us was it was really obvious that upholstery and upholstered hard surfaces is moving to the forefront. But whether it's case goods or accent pieces, we are seeing fabrics and textiles and even in some cases padding, right, Jackie?
Absolutely.
On hard surfaces. So here you have, this is C.R. Lane and a Parsons table, desk, and then using the trunk idea actually as a stool. We saw it from ottomans and stools to upholstered fronts on chests. Wesley Hall and several others were using nail heads in upholstery as backing for wall sconces. I think this is a Bernhardt chest down here. Of course, nail heads and upholstery seems to go hand in hand. This was at Salon. This was awesome. This was a upholstered piece, and we thought, oh my gosh, this is something you could actually have your carpenter just cut out, this wonderful motif that you might choose, nail it together and put a glass, upholster it, nail head it, and put a glass front on it, custom piece for your client. And you're selling fabrics. Here's some more.
And a lot of these places were just, fabric glued on, and then others were actually upholstered and tufted.
Right, exactly.
Really, really great.
Now, we've seen nail heads all over the place in all kinds of different ways, but I think the one thing that we also saw happening because of this upholstered, this new channel and new product mix of upholstered hard surfaces is they're getting very artistic with the way that they're putting nail heads on it. Wouldn't you agree?
Well,
here's the back of a chair.
They're using it as the pattern. I mean, they're really, I think it goes back to maybe some of Barry Dixon's ottomans and that he was doing. Maybe could have spurred some of this, but yeah, it's actually becoming more of like a fluid element rather than and much more decorative than a utilitarian one.
Right, and it sort of kind of gives it a little bit of an edge, almost that sort of industrial edge to soft goods. And I agree with you. I think that Barry probably certainly was trend forward in this, and flattery is the imitation. Here's some more.
Oh yeah.
That whole metallic thing. It's not going away. It's going to be around. You can figure a way to mix the two.
I want to just make a point. Go back 2 slides to the toile table really quickly. If you'll notice, too, that one of the things we really saw is these really feminine fabrics then being trimmed with nail heads, which is really sort of a juxtaposition, I thought, of sort of that industrial, like you mentioned, and then these beautiful feminine shapes. So I just wanted to point that out.
Right, and as I say, anytime you put a bird on it, whether it's the wallpaper here, or I think this is a Thomas Paul for Dura-Lee fabric on this console, it makes it saleable. So wonderful upholstered hard surfaces. Next up, trimmings. Jackie?
Well, trimmings really have made just a huge, huge statement. at market, and they were being used in really different applications than we're seeing. They are absolutely the centerpiece of upholstered goods. And so you'll see these chairs at the top. I believe those are Wesley Allen chairs. The Greek key element was huge, and many, many different trims with Greek key, a lot of fretwork trims. But again, I think it's that sort of feminizing of a very sort of linear graphic design element, but using them really kind of to create pattern on very flat surfaces. The chair at the bottom left was a Mary McDonald piece, and she's using trim to create this more of a textural difference and interest in the arm. And we saw a lot of chairs being wrapped with the arms and trim going down it. So it's really, to me, an inspiration of a rebirth of trim, because we've seen so little trim used.
I know, I love it.
Years,
this is my favorite, are with these center inserts. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see it in so many different things, this, like, whether it's a Roman shade, or I love it on chairs, or is this the statement piece that the client, that you're inserting a piece of fabric that's too expensive to do on the complete chair. I mean, it was stunning. I loved that look.
Yeah, and I think for workrooms, it's a quick fix for existing product that your client may have. They may have some panels and everything else. It's a great way to sort of, upsell and say, well, maybe we can use that chair. Let's throw some trim on it. It's very relevant right now.
Absolutely.
These pillows, this is a gal, and after, if you look at this on the website later, we'll have all the sources on the pages. This is our first one, so it's a little bit rough, but I can't remember her name at the moment. But she had some really ingenious uses of trim. The pillow at the top is nothing but trim, the one with the twisted gimp cord, and then so she's creating an entire surface of trim. You see the other one where you're pointing out there, these great big frogs that she made out of cord, and then she has these great medallions at the center of these pillows, and they are, and by the way, these are indoor-outdoor pillows, if you can believe that. All of it is indoor-outdoor fabric and the trim, and the medallions are powder-coated so they won't rust. But I thought, trim also, this is carrying on that sort of nailhead theme, but in a much larger way, and I loved it.
Oh, I loved her line. She had a great line. It was new to it. Color schemes. Whether you're working in case goods or hard surfaces, or even and particularly soft goods, color schemes are always relevant. And this market, it was all about coral and turquoise. This is Thibault's new enchantment collection. This chair happens to be a turquoise linen, and then these sort of chinoiserie medallions, sort of cleaned up a bit from the Suzanne, much more Asian influence, is embroidered. That was a gorgeous fabric. And then, of course, toiles mixed with fretworks. And then when you put coral and turquoise with it and add a bit of chinoiserie, which gives it an exotic feel, it was like amazing. It was all over the place. In fact, you remember, we walked into one of the Hamilton buildings, and on the first floor, the furniture manufacturer was all in coral and teal. Got in the elevator, went to the second floor, and a different manufacturer was in the same color scheme. You really couldn't tell whether you had walked into a different showroom or not.
Well, and we've been going to market for, I've been going 20 years, Deb's been going forever. I've never seen a market that was so coordinated. It's like, everybody called each other and said, well, let's do coral and teal, and let's put nailheads and trim on everything. It was so pervasive everywhere.
Right. I think what's happened is we've embraced color, and we love color. Now we're seeing this sort of, pretty color, joyful, if you will, for lack of a better, buoyant color, because we're coming out of that sort of post-recession hangover, if you will, and we want pretty, we want fresh, we want buoyant, and so I think that this
Right.
color scheme in particular speaks to that
Well, and
whole
I
thing.
think,
Here you can see it. It does
yeah,
range
and I think
definitely
the
from
key
your.
too is that mixing it with the white and the hues are more vibrant. It's not like our old-fashioned, teal and peach scheme that,
Thank
from the
God.
80s. Thank goodness. So it's really vibrant and beautiful.
And as you can see, anytime you can reference any kind of Oriental imagery or Asian fusion looks and chinoiserie, very important. This is Company C with their throws. This is Wesley Hall. These pillows are Loli. I always say it wrong.
I
This, I
don't even know
think,
how to say
was
it.
Eastern Accents, and this was all
Yeah,
Scootosh that was done on this pillow. Eastern Accents had some really interesting product introductions.
they really embrace the trim for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the coral and turquoise too. It tended from really bright to then going almost to red and blue, but it was still sort of a turquoise and coral hue.
Right, kind of a riff almost on Americana, if you will. This is
Mm-hmm.
Dura-Lee Tilton Fenwick's new collection that was put on C.R. Lane, which was again in those same colorways. Here's the C.R. Lane, and again, peeking on this pillow, Greek tea banding. We also loved the square bolster ideas.
Yeah. And again with brush fringe on those. So
Mm-hmm.
trim
Yeah, exactly.
everywhere. And
Another
millhead.
color
This
that
thing's got
seemed to be,
everything.
yeah, sorry, didn't mean to talk over you.
It's
Another
okay.
color that seemed to be really all over the place, whether it was the statement piece or it was that accent when you were layering, was pink. On the right, this is Tebow again, and again that sort of fresh Palm Beachy, preppy green and hot pink. What was interesting about this piece to me was this was a matelassé that they had turned into a duvet cover, and then had to really oomph it up and customize it. They had added the banding motif on both sides and on the shams to existing matelassé covers.
Yeah,
This
and I
is,
mean banding everywhere. I mean, this was almost, I would say, like the Lily Pulitzer
yeah,
vibe.
absolutely.
This colorway.
Yeah, this is Floris Broadhurst for Surya Rug, their new collection, again in hot pinks. And this is Pow, I believe, in the other pillows. And even, this is Global Views, but as you can see, the coral here has gone a bit orange on one hand and then pink on the other. Granted, it's hard surfaces, but they're always, whether you're referencing accent pieces or accessories, it's soon to come into soft goods. Blues and greens, and it's sort of a new green. This is wallpaper and floral combination, again from Tebow. Seemed to be really on trend this market. This is that chartreuse silk. This is Burton James, one of their new chairs. But the new green seemed to be that more that shamrocky grass, almost emerald green. Here
Like
you
a
have a
Kelly
leather
green.
chair from, this is C.R. Lane. Both of these are C.R. Lane. This is Dransfield and Ross in a floral, but as you can see, it's sort of blues, indigo blues mixed with emerald greens, and then that chartreuse almost going gold. So is red the next big color? What seemed to see, I don't know if you agree with me, Jackie, but what I was seeing is the wall art, the accent pieces, like at Mary McDonald, she showed a lot of gray, but her pop was red. The red seemed to be showing up a bit in case goods, in lacquered
a lot of accent,
pieces.
really, yeah, accent pieces. Because I think a lot of it too is with the chinoiserie influence.
Yeah.
Red is the natural go-to color.
Definitely
that, so
and also coming off the runway, because there's been a lot of red in the last 2 seasons in the redway. So my prediction is red's the next big color, that ruby rich lipstick red that we love. That'll be the next color play, and for soft goods, moving into soft goods for sure. Here's some more examples. This is a new pillow line from Loli, and again you can see they're kind of referencing that reds with browns. So bedding's getting pretty, huh, Jackie?
You know, we have seen in the past few years this trend towards hotel-style bedding, very tailored, very sort of stark, and you know, not a lot going on. And we just were floored with some of the bedding options out there. So this is Eastern Accents again. They're leading the way with, you know, trim application. If you take a look at the bottom of the bed skirt has trim on it. Even their new collection of sheets has this open fretwork banding on it, which we thought was really beautiful and feminine. And then those really giant painterly florals were everywhere. The watercolor look with, you know, very simple. This is, again, sort of that same aspect, lots of trim, beautiful, you know, corals, and this is more of a blue or teal, but again, lots of trim. That bolster pillow in the center is rickrack all over that thing.
Oh, love
and banding on it. So they really took, you know, their cue, I think, from the trim itself. What, you know, to me it seemed anyway that for a lot of these vendors, they're kind of starting there, which was surprising, and not saying, well, what can we do with this, you know. Here's another example of, you know, something that's a little more tailored, but again, you know, using that damask paired with the check, it's much more feminine, much more inviting to me personally, even though it's a neutral palette. The fretwork and the Satouche braid, you know, in that calligraphy pattern, it has a really nice feminine but still tailored feel. And, you know, some of that with the gray flannel throw, and it, you know, it makes it sort of manly and feminine at the same time, but without that harsh, like, hotelier edge to it. So we just really loved what was happening there. And look at the headboard with the monogram.
Oh, loved it.
You know,
loved it. I thought that was really an awesome idea. So the last trend that we saw coming into market is what we were calling the rise of the ready-mades. What we're seeing is a lot of manufacturers that have been dealing in case goods or only area rugs have started moving into decorative pillows, and now are really completing the loop and moving into ready-mades, and really well done ready-mades. We were really surprised. I wouldn't, you know, ready-made is maybe even a misnomer. In some cases, more like a made-to-measure, semi-custom, if you will.
Yeah.
This is Eastern Accents, and in showing off their program, and I put this in because it just gives you an idea. First of all, I love the concept if you were showing window treatments. So they painted the chalkboard and then sort of did the bubbles of what was, but look, available in 4 different lengths, lining and interlined. There's something like 8 or different patterns of different headings you can use in any of their fabrics that they have, so you can not only coordinate with your bed, but it could certainly be standalone. It was a really great program. Here are their samples of the types of pleats that they're doing. Again, it's not your tab top and just your grommet or a rod pocket that speaks to it. They had cartridges and Euro pleats and inverted box pleats, some really interesting headings.
And they're well made. You know, they had obviously, I think, taken a master class in, you know, drapery design finally, and figured out what makes a good drapery. And putting the interlining in there, that shocked both of us. We were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would say if there's a secret source is go out and do your research on companies that are doing these sort of higher end ready-mades, and because it fills a void for the customer that maybe can't afford true custom right now. You can service her, and then who knows, in 5 or 10 years if she doesn't come back to you once she can afford it. This is Creative Threads. They are out of Atlanta. Again, lots of custom tops, interesting fabrics from embroideries to flocks to beading, to metallics, shears. Here, this is a black sheer with some beaded metallic. They had a really wonderful selection. So also there's 4 or 5 different manufacturers. In fact, we're going to be focusing on that in upcoming posts and possibly just focusing on a webinar on ready-mades and how you can go in and actually capitalize on those kinds of things. This is Couture Dreams if you're looking for that soft pretty. This is India's Heritage. They were doing some really interesting raw silks and wool flannels, sort of, and florals. There was a really broad range of wonderful ready-mades out there. So that's our first Take 10. We want to thank you all for attending. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to type them in, and we hope you join us, as we said, twice a month to see what's out there. Oh, we got some questions, Jackie.
Okay, and I also want to say that this will be up on the Soft Design Lab website probably by tomorrow, let's say.
Right.
And we will have a source list for everything that you've seen in the catalog so that you can go to their websites and check it out.
Right, great. Mary, great question. So when we were looking at all the upholstered surfaces with the nail heads, were they using the bead chain, you know, the length of chain? I think in most cases, if they were doing borders, I think they were. But in most cases, when they started doing the intricate work, those were single nail heads.
A lot of it was single nail heads, and I think that, you know, this is obviously something that, you know, their manufacturers, whether they're manufacturing in China or the United States or whatever, has come up with, and they've embraced it. So they're putting a big workforce behind that and have trained them how to do it because it's expertly done. Everything is aligned perfectly, and you know, there's just, not that I'm against the chains, but they just don't give you that couture, you know, special look. Because you see the link in there. So I think most of them were individual, and they were really, really well done.
Here's a tip for those of you that are looking to maybe have your workrooms do something like that, is Rolly Company makes a nail head template. And I think you could probably marry their nail head template with some sort of stencil on vellum or something of a design if you wanted to do it as a design and go from there. So Judy had a couple questions. Ready-Made Company, it's Creative Threads in Atlanta. They have some amazing books. They're sampling, I think they have 5 or 6 sample books, Judy. Fabrics are about 20 inches square, but their price points are pretty amazing. I think you have lots of questions about price point on retail, on ready-mades. Anywhere, we were seeing it, anywhere from $150 retail to $800, $900 retail panel, all depending on.
And a lot of them had a huge range of fabrics to choose from, and some of them did COM as well. So, you know, it's a great fill the gap for you guys if you are workrooms or designers, and, you know, a lot of them offer a quicker turnaround if you're ordering, you know, stock products. So, you know, instead of, I think sometimes people in the soft industry get a little bit of afraid of those products, but, you know, we're seeing an opportunity to embrace that and just expand your repertoire and your offering to your client.
Right.
Somebody's going to sell that product and make money off of it. It might as well be you as a soft professional.
Well, I found it interesting. We were in a major furniture manufacturer's showroom, and they had done ready-mades that matched their new line in their new collection, and they were selling them. And some were unlined and some were lined, and almost they probably had, what, would you say, 16 pairs of draperies, maybe 20 pairs of draperies within the showroom, and every single one of them was sold. Some designer had already purchased them, was purchasing them to take them home, and they were paying about $180 a panel for them in when they were unlined, and it's like, oh my gosh, guys, why don't you just have your workroom make these?
But you know, then I will bet you dollars to donuts that next market they're going to have a ready-made line. When they see that stuff going out the door and they're making money on it because they put it up on the window or on the wall, and it already matches their furniture, they're going to be offering panels. I'll guarantee it. Great
question, Mary. Yes, all the ready-made manufacturers or product lines that we saw were to the trade only. And what's also interesting about it is this is also coming from, case good manufacturers and area rug manufacturers. So they're definitely moving into the whole idea of selling a lifestyle and not just selling product. And just so we know, Kelly will have to talk to you about it later, and maybe you'll have to tell us all about how you did it. Kelly is putting together her own panel program to meet that sort of semi-custom, made-to-measure client. So I'd love to talk more about that. We'll be in touch.
Sure.
So great. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Watch your inbox for more information, and we hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you
Bye,
so
Jackie.
much. Bye.